My name is Guillermo Aranda-Mena, and I'm an architect who lives in Melbourne but comes to Mantova once a year, and I've been running the studio with colleagues at Politecnico di Milano in Mantova Campus for a number of years. And I always have really fond memories of the times when we work together in projects that might be happening in Melbourne, Australia, or elsewhere around the world. In the next few minutes I will show you some of those projects, but at this point we are only a few meters from home, where we're working from home all the time for now 3 weeks. And in Melbourne, nearby here, it's St Kilda Beach, and this is one of my local canals, and my son Memo. So we'll talk soon. We'll see you later. Ciao. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, in the next few minutes, I'm going to browse through some of the projects we have done in recent times. And more than a lecture, is really an overview of the examples of ideas and also locations where we have created a life cycle approach to heritage. So what I do, and it's called Economic Appraisal, but really is looking into going on sites with heritage value, architectural or historical value, but looking into a whole new way and perspective of how we can bring these locations up to 21st century, including developing business models of reutilization and creating a plan for it. So the last studio at the end of 2019, we look at the idea of circularity and the circular economy, where we took 3 branches, fashion, so the whole idea of textile industry and fashion in terms of redoing garments from existing, we call it waste, but we also can call it raw material, and stop landfill. The other one was e-waste, which had to do with all IT, mobile, everything that goes into landfill. How would that be not just recycled but designed for repurposing on design? And the last one is ocean waste and plastic, so materials that can become from waste construction products or materials. So we can have locations around the world where each of the teams, we investigated a vision for a project in particular settings. This one was in Brisbane, Australia, and we included a whole set of a structural approach and also the design intent, so the concept of the actual building. But the building would not go anywhere without a business plan and not dependent on government sponsorship. So we look at potential business investors, partners, and owners as well. So in this case, you can see the whole structure of rethinking on textile industry, moving away from fast fashion, and some of the brands are actually engaging with this idea of circularity. Global brands that are looking to restate their products in a more sustainable, environmentally friendly approach. So you can see that the actual locations were some of them in beautiful strategic parts of the cities that we operate, and with great value or potential value, but currently, former industrial or post-industrial sites that could be in urban archaeology or abandoned sites. But we have in the blog a set of locations that you can see, or keywords, where we can actually go by geolocation and then look at say, well, let's have a look at the Italian projects. I mean, we had a number of sites utilizing sponges to absorb oil the Adriatic Sea and cleaning the water. This is on the waterfront of Ravenna, and reutilizing plastic. We can browse through a little bit of the project. Let's have a look at that. So what you can see here is a group by 6 of the students who work really well together and were quite bold and original in their designs and also strategies. So the actual reports are all online as well, so you can browse through them. They got all the planning, the concept, the business strategy, stakeholder management approach, strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities diagrams. So we created all these as part of our studio business plan and strategies. So you could browse through different keywords, but let's just move on and trying to find other interesting things that we did. One other project we have done, which was more like a smaller assignment, and it's nearly like was for increasing our cultural kind of heritage, but we had a list of books that are really interesting in architecture, and what we said is textual passages through reading, for example, Italo Calvino, or reading Ala de Bolton, or reading Charles Montgomery, which is all on happiness in cities, species of spaces, George Perec. But the students actually decided passages to illustrate or kind of interpret in their own ways, and have just pretty much a conceptual kind of, in some cases, abstract visualization of these passages. So Italo Calvino had the various cities in its passages of the La Città Invisibile, and this is one example. So what you can do is, look at search by keywords or all the posts, but keywords show the books that we actually look at. It's not a large list, but they're just interesting the ruins of Paris. That's one on walking through the city and reinterpreting parts of the city. So one other blog site that we could look at are in previous years, what we've done over the years in projects, architectural competitions. A lot of the work done in Australia spans from the heritage of an individual building to heritage trials and regional zones and redeveloping regionals. In Australia, here's with Marco Morandi, who was one of my students, and last year he was very involved with assisting me during the studio. So Marco and his team, they look at a zone near Melbourne, and that's the gold fields of Melbourne, former as a mining for the gold was very wealthy, and created beautiful townships which now are really, really quiet, and the economy is just not working well because everyone wants to live in the city. So how can we rescue these old sites? We develop tourist paths and economic business ideas. So this is the full report, but at the end the team will also put together a visualization of what might look like in the future. So they're creating paths and future outcomes. So look at the site as well. It's got different keywords, so you can look at different teams. This is also a really good submission that we had. I think in 2017, that is correct, 16 to 17. So this is a larger scale approach rather than singular site, but you can browse through, and you can always go back to visit us. So just scan with your phone your location, and we've done quite a few projects. So I have a personal site. This is my Google Scholar with all publications, so you can download them or contact different papers, books I have done over book chapters over the years, and I have a personal blog which I talk sometimes in Spanish, Italian, or English on ideas, bring a bit of photography, art, whatever. It's at the flavor of the moment. So it's not a serious blog, but it's more about getting my creative juices flowing. So with that, I'd like to stop at this point, and I hope to see you soon. You take care. Bye. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the presentation, and we'll finish our hour for exercise. This is the time we get free to get out of home and do a bit of running or playing calcio. So, alla prossima. Ci vediamo a tutti. Ciao da Melbourne.